There's not going to be a greater opportunity modern day to make a really Oscar-y film filled with old white men than the holy grail of old white men, the Catholic Church.
And therefore no need for faith.
So, dead Pope, Pope is dead is Pope, yes, and Ralph Fiennes has got to be in charge of the election, which basically consists of them sitting down, writing down names, they read out all the names, they do a little tally, if they don't have a pope, they set off a smoke bomb, and wash, rinse, repeat. And nobody tries to sway anybody else to their side or anything like that. Much like sex scandals, that's something the Catholic Church likes to keep private. I gotta say, there's any number of things which are surprisingly beautiful about this film. For an idea, a setting, an institution which screams traditionalism, it's not a film that does, because it's got, I mean, to be fair, the soundtrack is brilliant in a very sort of way, because it is mostly crazy, hot violin interludes. But those are playing over some of the most beautiful, surprisingly innovative cinematography that you could ever hope for in a film about a bunch of priests walking around. There are so many shots which are just like them walking in a courtyard while it rains or something, and you're like, how can you make this epic? But it works. And it is incredible. And I feel like the whole film pulls the rug out from under you. I'm not going to get too far into spoilers. But I went in expecting it to kind of move from one like big to the next as a sort of pseudo-thriller, even though it's more of a drama. But, you know, actually, yeah, you could almost classify it as a thriller. What I didn't expect was some of the elements closer to the end, in the third act, which are much less traditional old white man Oscar film than I would have expected it to be. It manages to feel slow in a stately and regal manner, rather than just feeling dull at any point. And that is impressive again, because it is a 2-hour film about an election where they just write names down, and then the guys call out the names, and then they just do that over and over. Like, that's all that the election actually is. So how did they make it interesting? It took a lot, and I think it really treads the line carefully between being a film that was dull because the subject material is quite dull and convoluted. It had to find a lot of ways to make those parts interesting, but it didn't feel overly ridiculous, I'll say that. And that was impressive, and it's partly down to just amazing filmmaking and incredible acting, and a script that actually is very good. It feels like it's a sort of message to the Catholic Church at large. Not necessarily just an anti-Catholic message at all, but it asks some interesting questions about morality, and it does something fascinating with the concept that not that I didn't expect it to be able to do that, but I was still surprised by the end by what it was as a film, by what it decided to do. And I also thought it was pretty funny that this film is kind of paying homage to the greatness of the Catholic Church, and also is just a film that moves from scandal to scandal to scandal about the different candidates. It's just like, yeah. And to be fair, when they say modern day, no candidate is not going to have some sort of black mark against them, like, that's very true, because nobody is perfect. And when they say, like, we are but humans, like, we are not God, like, it all makes a lot of sense. But also, damn, some of those guys had scandals. There's lots of grand speeches, epic moments. There are just a lot of different elements of this film I didn't expect to be able to stand out in the way that they do. And I'm just left looking at it going, what? I'm sure that Conclave is still maybe too much of an old man sort of Oscar-y film to actually win that many Oscars. But I don't think it should be discounted, because I was looking forward to this. I thought it was going to be great. Not just good, I thought it was going to be great going in. And I'm still kind of blown away a little bit, honestly, by how much I enjoyed this and every element of this. So I'm giving Game of Rome 4.5 stars. Ralph Fiennes gives off just such constant, oh god, I accidentally became important at work energy throughout this whole thing. He's just constantly looking like, man, please don't make me do any more work. And I'm the same, so please subscribe so that I can just watch films all day.